Hello out there, and welcome to another video from the team here at BlenderTech.com. That's BlenderTech.com. Don't forget to remember, create your way. Today we'll be teaching you how to do basic armature and character animation. Don't forget to subscribe for more Blender, Unity 3D, and programming videos. The team tries to add between 3 to 10 a day. Here's an example of what can be done with what we're going to learn today about armatures and character creation quickly. So we've got our Blender file open here, our brand new one, and we're going to uncheck the camera just so it's not in our way. And the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to create a basic blocky character. So what I'm going to do is in front view, here's a trick I learned, control up and down. Open and close any extraneous windows you have so you have more room for modeling. I just learned this and it's really handy. Another trick I want to let you know that I just learned, if you hold down control and then use the leftmost button, you can drag in any shape that you want to select things. I just saw this in a video from well over a year and a half ago, and I didn't even know it existed in Blender till now. But anyway, let's start building our block characters. We're going to add a mesh cube, and let's just get started. So I'm going to move it up about 1 unit so it's right on the grid floor. I'm going to move it across, or I'm going to scale it along the X, sorry. Let's turn on screencast keys. Everybody seems to like those. Seems to be the industry standard, even though they're not supported in this version anymore. So anyways, continuing on. I'm going to scale it along the X about, I don't know, let's say 2 units, 3 units. Just trying to think here. No, about 2 units will work. Yep, 2 units, okay. And now let's just make some loop cuts. In edit mode, I guess that might make it easier. So let's make some loop cuts. We'll make one right along that line. We'll make one right along that line. And we'll make one right down the middle, basically. So as you can see, this is going to be our basic legs here. So let's box select. Or I guess I could use my fancy new one I learned where I just go like this. But let's box select this bottom here and delete everything so that we have our kind of legs. I'm just going to quickly fill this in. There we go. So pretty basic. Let's add in some more loop cuts down here so we can make his shoes, and another one on this side. I could be using a mirror modifier, but I'm just going for speed. And then we're going to extrude this out. Just give him a nice big foot. Extrude this out, and we'll snap it with vertice snapping. So he's got some pretty darn big feet. We might need to go into front view and box select this, and we might need to scale it, along the Z, or we might need to grab it along the Z, I mean, so it doesn't look so ridiculous. There we go. We could even scale it along the Y a little bit. So there's his basic leg shape in more or less basic terms. I don't know, something like that. And then let's give him a basic little body. So we'll take these 3 faces and we will extrude them up. Let's give him something like that. And now let's give him some arms. So we'll do another loop cut. About right there. Whoa, what happened? I didn't select the face properly. I got the wrong one. That is why X-ray mode can be an issue sometimes. So we're going to extrude back up. And we're going to do our loop cut now to give him some arms. So about right there. And let's go into face select. And select this one and that one. And let's extrude it out. And scale along the X. Gives them nice long, ridiculously long arms. And then from here, let's extrude another little box and let's just scale it up in all directions. So that'll be his stupid little hands. And on the other side, let's do the same. Extrude and scale. And now we need to give him a neck, so let's take this face and extrude it up. And let's scale it down. And scale, or extrude up a little bit, sorry. So there's his neck, kind of shoulders, whatever you want to call them. And now let's give him a head, so let's extrude this up. And we'll take this face, and we will not grab it. We're going to extrude along that way too. And we'll extrude along this. Oh, wrong face again. Extrude along that way. So there we go. We have kind of a basic figurehead. You could go into more detail, but I wanted a very blocky character. So now how do you create armatures? Control up to bring my options up. So what we need to do is go back into object mode, and we need to create new armatures. So what we do is we go Control A, add armature, single bone. And so this is the main bone. So we just move it up into our character, and if we click on the little human tab here, I believe we can turn on X-ray. Yep, so that way we can see what we're doing. So this bone, we're going to scale it up so that basically it's our main body bone. And then what you do is you can right click, or you go into edit mode now with your armature selected, and you right click. You can right click on these joints here, or you can right click on the whole bone, and you can translate it as you would a normal object. But if you click on a joint, you can hit E to extrude, and that creates a new bone. So we're going to create little like hip bones for him here. So we're just going to do along the x-axis. What value are we going to use? About 1.5 to keep it even, and then clicking here again, right clicking, we're going to extrude the other way along the X. We're going to do negative 1.5. Now we're going to give them some leg bones. So we're going to extrude along the Z axis down to about there, almost to the bottom of his feet. And we're going to do the same on the other side along the Z axis, almost all the way to the bottom. Then for his feet, we're just going to extrude along the Y axis all the way to the front of his foot. And do the same on the other side. Extrude along the Y, all the way to the front of his foot. Alright, so we're getting a basic skeleton started. Now from the shoulders, let's go across into the arms. Oh, wrong way, along the x-axis. Let's create shoulders, so approximately 2 units. Let's do it on the other side. Extrude along the x, negative 2 units. And then let's give them some arm bones, so we'll extrude along the X 1 unit, no, 2 unit. Oh, not 12, 2 units. 2 units. Then we'll extrude along the X 2 units again. We're going to have to go bigger this time. Let's go 3 units. So basically that's kind of like his upper arm, and this is kind of like his forearm. And then let's simply just extrude into the hand along the X. So there we go. Basically think of it like an actual human skeleton. So let's do the same on this side. We extrude along the X. Where did we do? 2? So we go negative 2. Yep. And then we extrude along the X, negative 3. And then we extrude along the X just into his hand. So it looks about the same. Now choosing his main bone here, we're going to create a little neck bone. So we're going to extrude along the Z. And then for his head, one last bone along the Z, all the way to the top. So there you go. We have our basic skeleton. It's not sticking out of our character too bad, and it is in line with him for the most part. So now what we do is we select our entire armature. So pressing A to select them all. Actually, the first step you should do is select a bone and then click on the bone tab here and give it a name. So for example, right here, I would name this bone, say spine. And this bone right here, I would call hip dot, let's see, that would be the left side if you were him. So hip dot L. That's the industry standard. Dot L is for left and dot R is for right. So for example, this one would be hip dot R. You know, this one would be leg.L, foot.L, foot.r, and basically this is just for organization. You don't need to do this, but I'm just showing you how to do this so that you can organize it, because you can get very, very complicated armatures with complicated characters. We'll call this shoulder.l, and for example this would be lower arm.l. So just an idea. We'll just call this one head. So head. So that gives you an idea of just how you would organize your skeleton, because if you were creating a full real life character, you would have, well, how many bones are in a human body? A couple hundred? You would have quite a few bones to create. So anyways, we're going to parent it to our cube. So we then, with your cube selected in object mode, hold shift and left click on armature, and then go control P to parent, and we want to do an armature parent. Now, since we're not doing weights yet, since we haven't gotten to that, and if you don't know what that is, you can ignore it for now, just use automatic weights. So we're going to do an armature deform with automatic weights. If we extend this now and select our original cube and go into weight mode, now you can see which bones act on which parts of the body. As you can see, the head is going to move a lot, the neck is going to move a little, and the body's going to move in equal amounts depending on what bone is selected. So now with your armature selected, you go into pose mode, and this is where you can start your animations. So for example, if you wanted your head to rotate, you could hit R to rotate along the X, and you could have him nod his head and see how that deforms the mesh. And you could say select his hand, and you could rotate it along the Z, and you could have it back and forth. Or if you rotate along the Y, you could have him kind of like that. Or if you rotate along the X, you could have it twisting. And like I said, see how it deforms the mesh. So that just gives you a general idea. And say you wanted his foot, oops, I unclicked. Say you wanted his foot to tab in pose mode, you right click on his foot, and we would be rotating it, and you could along the X, and you could have his foot tapping. So to show you how to do this with an animation, let's just split our window quickly, and let's open our timeline up. So at frame 1, just select all, or let's just do a foot tapping animation, nice and easy. So we select our foot, and we press I to enter a keyframe, and then just do a lock rot scale. That's a location rotation scale. As you saw, you can also choose your whole character, and that'll take every character's bone. That's if you're doing more advanced animations. And so the animation is going to start here, then move ahead 1 second, so approximately 25 to 30 frames depending on your frame rate. I think I'm at 30 frames per second. So in 1 second, he's going to rotate along the X, and his foot's going to come up to here. And then you hit I to enter a keyframe, lock rot scale. And then let's go ahead 1 more second to 60. And then we're going to hit R along the X, and then let's put it back down. I for inserting a keyframe, do another lock rot scale. And you can just repeat this 1 or 2 more times. So at 90, he's rotating along the X again. Up 1 more time. I for inserting keyframe, lock rot scale. And then to 120 will be his final. He's going to tap his foot twice, so we're going to rotate along the X back to the bottom. And you can do this for every bone. You see, if I select a different bone, my timeline's empty. So you can animate every single bone individually, or you can animate the whole character at once on your timeline. Depending on your style, it's up to your preference. I like to animate 1 bone at a time. That way it keeps my timeline from getting cluttered. But now if we go all the way back and play through this, you will see, so if we hit play, you'll see he's tapping his foot. We never created a back animation. I forgot to enter the keyframe at 120. So let's say at 140, rotate along the X back to the ground. Insert a keyframe, lock rot scale, go back to the beginning and hit play. So as you can see, he's tapping his foot as if he's waiting for something. So that's just a basic introduction to armatures and animating them. And if we go back to the person tab, we can turn off X-ray, and that way your bones kind of hide except for the ones that are sticking out. Your bones will not show up in renders, so you don't have to worry about that, but if you are working on your character, that can help you kind of shape your bones and whatever. Another thing you can do, if you go into the bone tab, you can, or I think if you open the N tab, yeah, the N tab, you've got X, Y, and Z rotation, but you've also got a W rotation. What is W rotation? What that does is, so with this bone selected, for example, what am I trying to explain here? Which one is it? Oh yeah, I was gonna say you can rotate in more than 3 axes. So you've got, that way, you've got that way, you've got back and forth, and you've got the W rotation, which doesn't show up. I'm not sure exactly what it would do to these bones, but I know it does something special, just I don't know offhand. You'd have to go online and look it up, but it's rotation quaternions. I'm not well versed enough in armatures. I don't do a lot of that kind of stuff. So anyways, this was just a basic intro to creating a quick armature for a basic character. Thanks for watching from the team here at BlenderTech.com. Again, that's BlenderTech.com. If you enjoyed this video and learned something, please like it and don't forget to subscribe for more Blender, Unity 3D, and programming videos. We try to add between 3 to 10 a day. If you disliked this video for some reason, please leave a comment or email the team at info@BlenderTech.com as to what you did not like and what we can improve on. We also take requests for tutorials, so let us know what you want or want more of and we'll make a video for you. See you next time, and remember, create your way.